I'm Serena, and today we're diving into an important topic that comes up a lot: pigs and dogs. Why are they so different? What's the difference? People come into pet pig ownership thinking that their pet pig is going to be like a dog. That's kind of one of the most common misconceptions about pet pig ownership. People are like, well, it's kind of just like having a dog or just like having a cat. No, 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 no. So let's dive in and talk about what the big differences are and why pigs and dogs are very different creatures and how you can actually approach your leadership role with your pig compared to how you interact with your dog as their leader. Usually when people ask me, how do pigs and dogs get along? I tell them it's on a case-by-case scenario. Half the internet will tell you that their pig and their dog get along perfectly fine, and the other half of the internet will say never put your pig with your dogs. And so here's the breakdown that I have for it. Pigs are prey animals and dogs are predators, so they are natural enemies. That's not to say that your dog won't get along with your pig, but you do need to proceed with caution. Never leave your dog alone with your pet pig. That's kind of the number one rule. Even that 50% of the internet that says that pigs and dogs can get along perfectly fine, they typically will never leave their dog alone with their pig. When you're making your introductions, when you first bring your pet pig home, ideally you would like to have some sort of barrier between them. Make sure that the piglet is in its pen whenever you introduce the dog, or in a crate, or in some sort of situation where there's a barrier where they can't get to each other. They can see each other, they can smell each other, they can check each other out, but they aren't able to actually touch each other. If you put a pig in an environment or a situation where it doesn't feel safe, which could be whenever you introduce it to your dog, they may feel unsafe. So what they might do is their prey and survival instincts are going to kick in. The dog's predator instincts will kick in. So that's kind of the precaution that you really need to take. So here's the breakdown. Dogs are predators, which are pack animals. Pigs are prey animals, which are herd animals. This distinction makes the difference in everything. Dogs have been selectively bred for thousands of years to work alongside humans, follow their commands, and live in a dominance-based hierarchy. Dogs look to you as their alpha. They look for a dominant leader. Pigs, on the other hand, they're livestock animals, and yes, even mini pigs that are bred to be domesticated house pets, they have been domesticated, but they're still prey animals at heart, which means their number one priority is to feel safe. So this leads us into, how do you actually signal the safety, and why is it important? Well, it's important because you want your pig to see you as a reliable leader. And in order for you to be a reliable leader, you have to let them know that it's safe to trust you as their leader. Okay, so that's how pigs and dogs are very different. They're herd mentality versus pack mentality, and dominance leadership versus signaling safety leadership. Even mini pigs that have been bred to be pet pigs, they're still prey animals at heart, which means the number one priority for them is to feel safe. So as their leader, as a reliable leader for your pet pig, your job is to help your pet pig feel safe. You are constantly signaling safety to your pig. Whereas if you have a dog, you probably already know this, the way you would correct their behavior is by having a dominant or alpha relationship with your dog. So here's why dominance fails with pigs. I'm going to make this super simple. Dogs are wired to respect strength and authority. Pigs are wired to follow safety. So if we try to use dominance, like yelling, physical control, being pushy, our pig does not see this as leadership. They see it as danger. And when a pig feels unsafe, their brain, they can't learn. It's completely shut off. If they're in danger, they are going to do whatever it takes for them to feel safe. You're like, wait a minute, what happened to my pig? Why is he being crazy? It's because he does not feel safe. If you are trying to train your pig in the same way that you do your dog, it's not going to work. The standard way that people train their dogs, they have the rolled up newspaper and they pop them on the snout and the dog obeys. This is not how it works with pigs. It's actually quite the opposite. If you pop your pig on its snout with something or inflict any kind of physical way to get them to obey or be obedient, they're just going to turn around and be more scared and frightened of you, and you're going to get the opposite reaction that you're trying to get. So if we try to use the same kind of dominance training that we do with our dogs, it's just not going to work for your pig. When a pig feels unsafe, their brain cannot learn, so all those training attempts will fall flat. That's why we say pigs need cooperative care, not obedience training. We're signaling safety to our pet pigs at all times, and that comes with cooperative care or cooperative training. It's very different from obedience training. So let's talk about cooperative care versus obedience training for a little bit. With dogs, we teach commands, and with pigs, we build relationships. Pigs will take cue words and understand commands just like a dog does, like sit, spin. But the difference here is they're not wired to perform in the way a dog is. They're invited to be more of a participant in the training. They're not really doing it for the performance. They're participating so that they can get a reward. A dog, of course, wants a reward, but the dog honestly is going to perform the command for you pretty much all the time, whether you give them a treat or not, if you've trained it in them. Pigs, they're a little different. They will not always come when you say come. They will not always move when you want them to move. They may not perform a command for you unless they know there's something in it for them. That's why the trust building and the relationship building is pretty much at the core of having a well-behaved and well-trained pig. So it's more about communication and relationship with a pig, not control and dominance like it is with your dog. Science backs this up too. A pig's brain is incredibly sensitive to stress. That's why we focus on signaling safety, showing our pig in every interaction that we are calm and predictable and trustworthy. And in turn, they will have calm, predictable, and trustworthy reactions with you, whether it's feeding them or moving them from one area to another or getting them ready for bed or grooming them. Whatever kind of interaction you're having with your pet pig, you are letting them know that you are calm, predictable, and trustworthy in these interactions. And I'll go over a few ways that you can do that. We'll talk about that in the next section. The biggest takeaway is you are in a communicative relationship with your pig at all times that is signaling safety to them, not like your dog where you are seen as an alpha and you're dominating them and they are obeying you because you are more dominant. It's a very different type of interaction when it comes to your pig and your dog. They kind of see you as their equal. They want relationship. They need to know that this relationship that you have with them is rooted in safety. So how do we do this? How do we be seen as a reliable leader by signaling safety to our pigs? We focus on 4 things, and this is the signaling safety framework that I have in the printable that you can upload. It's an ebook that goes over this in more detail. It's 4 things that you can focus on. You can move calmly and predictably around your pet pig. That's doing slow movements, low to the ground, not hovering over them. Anything that's hovering over your pig is going to frighten them. So having very slow movements that are low to the ground, that's the first part of the framework to signal safety to your pet pig. The second part is to use gentle touch by invitation. Allow your pig to come to you first. Don't force any kind of picking them up or putting a harness on them or moving them. Allow them to come to you first. And this is where treats come in handy. Pigs are always on this reward-based interaction. So if they know that they're going to get some kind of a treat, like a Cheerio, this is the key to gaining their trust. Food is your friend when it comes to trying to gain your pet pig's trust. The third part of signaling safety to your pet pig is to create structure and routines. Your pig is going to thrive on a routine. If they know what to expect, the predictability factor is what's going to make them feel safe. Now, there's a caveat to this. Having your pig on a very strict routine that never changes can backfire on you. So a word of caution on having too much routine. It's It's always best to have a flexible routine. So, what you can do is change up your pig's routine in some ways. Maybe feed them 10 minutes later than they're normally used to being fed. Or it could be taking them for a walk or a stroll in the car once a week. Just adding some kind of change, changing up the toy that they're used to, change their blankets in their pen. Do some kind of changes. If it's too rigid of a routine, then they're going to be really fixated on things that change, and then that's going to stress them out. So they do want a routine, they want some structure, but we want to also have some flexibility in that routine. So when we do this consistently, your pig starts to relax. They see us as a safe person, the one that they can trust. And from that place of trust, training becomes possible. That's the heart of leadership with pigs. So remember, dogs follow strength and authority. Pigs follow safety and relationship. When we stop trying to dominate them like we do our dogs and we start showing up as a calm, reliable leader, everything changes with the interactions that you have with your pet pig. That's when the joy of pig parenting really starts to blossom. If you found this helpful, don't forget to download the free ebook that goes more in depth on the signaling safety framework and will help you to build that bonded relationship that you've always wanted with your pet pig. Thanks again. Bye.